stay lean forever because it's miserable, but I can stay strong forever. So after that, staying strong forever and getting stronger kind of stuck, and I never wanted to get lean again. Oh, and Duke gave me financial aid, so that was not random, right? So I got a free ride, and otherwise I wouldn't have been able to come here. I don't know a single person who has asked for it. Everybody just cared for my looks, for my awards, and for the way I could explain and break down the training to the person, deliver it in simple language. And write books and learn more about my sport and learn new sports. And the fact that you need to do the hair and the makeup and wear a bedazzled suit, I'm not really sure how that relates to athleticism. Sure, I could fix it if I just was doing some kind of very obvious thing wrong. And this obvious wrong thing was eating meat and eating a lot of it and eating a lot of egg whites and a lot of fish. And I grew up eating meat and fish and eggs, and I thought that's what athletes do, right? If I want to get strong, I need the protein. Hey, I'm Katya Gorbacheva, the vegan powerlifter, and we're in Durham, North Carolina right now. I'm originally from Voronezh, Russia. I've been living here for like 12 years.
And can you talk a little bit about when you came to North Carolina?
Yeah, I came to North Carolina for college in 2011. I studied at Duke, did a bachelor's in civil engineering, math and architecture, and tried to work in commercial construction for a couple years, doing different things, working in the field, managing large advanced tech and pharmaceutical research jobs. But in the field or in the office didn't really appeal to me, so I took a leap and started my business as a coach.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about the sort of discontentment that took you from like leaving an office, like, oh, fuck it, not for me, to like being a coach?
Yeah, so my dad is a bodybuilder, not competitively, but he's always been lean. And he would like lean out for the summer. He lifted all his life, really liked going to the gym. So I kind of grew up watching him do that. And he was doing that with friends, and kind of that camaraderie always appealed to me. I didn't see that camaraderie in the office or anywhere else working for somebody, but I did see that camaraderie among athletes. And I never thought I could be an athlete. I thought you were like born genetically superior to other people, and then you can become a power lifter, or become a bodybuilder, become whoever, if you've been training for that since childhood. But which is why I thought my dad never competed, right? Because we are genetically inferior. But when I learned that anybody can just train and then step on stage as a bodybuilder, lean out, or get stronger and step on the platform as a power lifter, that really inspired me. And helping women overall, I've been helping women that were my friends in college and after college just learn the basics about the gym, make a good workout program that works better than like yoga and running to look better for spring break or whatever they wanted to do. When I realized, oh, people actually want for me to teach them that still, and even more so, and then they also want to pay me money for that, or they can. So it was like a circle of overlapping what I love to do, what people are willing to pay me money for, and what I do really well. When I realized all of these overlap in I can coach women to get stronger and ditch my day job, I was like, all right, let's get some 6 months worth of savings and leap into the unknown.
Nice. Wow. And I guess it's interesting you say that, because like typically I guess someone's journey would be becoming the athlete first, but you're jumping into like, I want to train this person. So by that point you already had a lot of experience, like, with yourself.
Okay, so I did not consider myself an athlete, but I was definitely more athletic than the majority of the girls that I knew, and then like half the guys that I knew. And people in the office would like notice, you know, I would also lean out to the summer, and I would lean out for the summer, and people would notice the difference in my looks and comment on that. And I didn't think it was a big deal, but it was apparently a bigger deal, because the majority of people weren't just unwilling to do that, they didn't know how to do that, and they were willing to find somebody who's been more experienced with that, maybe through their training their friends and training themselves, rather than like having a formal strength and conditioning education. Because definitely a formal education helps. I wish I went to school for, PT and exercise science, but I didn't know that I liked that better then. And all I cared about was getting a job because I'm an immigrant, right? And getting a job in STEM is easier than getting a job in freaking exercise physiology or as a coach. So being an engineer was definitely a safer bet. But after I already could stay here legally, and after I had a green card, I was like, all right, now I can actually do what my calling is. And I got certified as a personal trainer. And people actually never even cared that I had a certification. I don't know a single person who's asked for it. Everybody just cared for my looks, for my awards, and for the way I could explain and break down the training to the person, deliver it in simple language.
But I want to know a little bit about your childhood. Like, tell me a little bit about your family and that's cool about your dad. You shared a story once with me about swimming this long distance with him and your mom being like, can you just talk a little bit about your relationship with them? And
yeah, I'm a single child. My mom and dad are still back there across the ocean, and I miss them dearly. I think I grew up a little bit spoiled. They wanted for me to do some kind of dancing, some kind of singing, not singing. They wanted for me to do martial arts, which I did Aikido and I did Jiu-Jitsu, and some kind of ballroom dancing. I clearly studied English because, wow, we're speaking English right now. And that was probably the best thing that they did for me because I could then come here. My mom is a very bookworm, kind of aced everything she's ever done type of person, not athletic at all. My dad is a go-getter and like type A, kind of like me, like let's get this done right now. I pretty much feel like I'm a clone of my dad. I'll show you a picture of me and my dad on bikes when I first got short hair, and I was a lot skinnier then, so I just looked like a boy standing next to him with the bike and all the bike gear. It's really funny. We would live together, we would bike and run and hike and swim, and if we go to the river in the summer, which there are short summers in Russia, right? So mom and dad and I would go to the river, and mom would tan and dad and I would swim. We would first swim against the current, I don't know how long, like half an hour maybe, not very long, and then float down the current and also swim, and then walk back to where mom was, so we kind of make this little loop. And like 2 hours later, 3 hours later, she'd be freaking out. And we're like, yeah, we just decided to have a swim. So yeah, those were like my favorite memories with parents. Hang out with mom and discussing books or movies, and hang out with dad and making up different exercises. Like he's had multiple back surgeries and knee surgeries, and I also have a knee issue and a back hernia. Way from my before lifting days. I wouldn't say it's genetic, but I probably did something stupid as a teenager, like jumping from trees into water and things. And we made up exercises that would not hurt us and would be available to us with like random lifting equipment in the basement, like pipes and heaters and things. And we would attach like cables and ropes to the walls, and
that almost made me tear up. I could just feel that. I could see that happening. All of that. I can show you the videos. Yeah, I would love to see them. That's so lovely. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. And I mean, like, what a great gift to have a parent to be like, yeah, you're going to learn English and you're going to do all these things even if you don't want to do them. That's cool.
Well, they gave me an opportunity to learn all those things and to see what sticks, because I think that's how you do kids, right? You just throw a bunch of stuff at them and be like, try this, but try this for long enough, you can actually get decently good at it, and then you can decide if you want to continue, right? So I did like martial arts. I was getting, maybe that's not a good thing to include, but I was getting into fights as a kid. I was always small. I grew up very slowly. I was like one of the shortest, but I was also really fast. And then as a teenager, before I became like, a girl, when everybody started maturing, like, and getting their butts and boobs, I just was a little chubby kid. I was getting chubby. but I was still the second fastest sprinter in my school. So I was fast somehow. And if boys, like girls wouldn't fight, right? But boys would fight, and we would do snowballs. Sometimes snowballs would have ice and rocks in them if kids are nasty. And sometimes they would, you would try to be like the top of the mountain, of the snow mountain, that's like, I don't know, 20 feet tall, and throw each other down. And if boys would fight, I'd fight back. So they actually removed me from the martial arts so I wouldn't get into fights, even though I don't think that's what helped. And then when I did get into fights, like defending myself basically from like boys who threw like ice at my face, I almost got on probation in school. Yeah, because you can't do that apparently. But like boys didn't get in trouble, but or maybe they did, but I don't know that. Yeah, but girls, not womanly to do that,
That's funny. And can you talk a little bit about like why you chose Duke, or what brought you specifically to North Carolina?
Okay, so I got into like Colgate and Colgate and what's the Cornell. I got into Cornell and Brown and Jacobs at school in Germany. I kind of wish I went there now because it would have been closer to home. Easier to travel back and forth because since I got into college, I could only see my parents twice a year, right? Christmas and summer. But my parents saw that kids were killing themselves in Cornell from this famous bridge and Ithaca, very cold, and they were like, ooh, no, boo-hoo. She's gonna freeze to death and kill herself. Let's not do that. North Carolina, there, warm, awesome, good weather, beautiful. Look, Duke, beautiful, great. So it was totally a random decision. And Duke gave me financial aid, so that was not random, right? So I got a free ride, and otherwise I wouldn't have been able to come here. So yeah, that was it. Pretty random. All right, some good school across the globe. Let's try it out. I'm not kidding.
You're such a rambler off. You'll like start, and then like the way you end a statement, it's just kind of funny. It's like a ramble. No, I love it. I actually feel like it's really cute. Cool. It's just funny.
I should be a politician.
You should be a politician. There you go.
No, I'll get myself killed.
Yeah, probably.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Also, like, you seem like otherwise you're a pretty healthy individual, right?
I think so. I mean, I have my things, but I would say I'm pretty healthy. Yeah. Overall, maybe, probably. Well, okay. I define health. I think my grandma's doctor said that, and maybe it's not his quote. If it hurts in a different place every day, then you're healthy. If it hurts in the same place every day, maybe you should worry. So yeah, in that case, I'm healthy. Hurts in a different place every day.
Does lifting make it hurt in different?
No, I'm kidding. Hurt and sore are like different, right? So I'm sore in different places. Like right now, my back is sore and my butt, and what else? I cupped my quads yesterday, so they're okay.
Talk a little bit about so what it felt like coming to the States, and what was that transition like?
It was like drinking out of the fire hose. I thought it would be like the movies about how it is in the States, and actually coming to the States wasn't the issue. The issue was graduating college and coming to America from college, because this mysterious, US of A is first different in every state, second the country, living in the country, and paying the bills and paying the taxes and going to grocery shopping and making friends and hanging out as an adult, a young adult after college, is different than being in college, right? Being in college is easy. Everybody's new, everybody's a convenient friend because you're taking the same classes, everybody parties in the same places, everybody goes to the same place to eat. Everything is easy, everything is accessible. And if you're a bachelor's in like one of the Ivies or top schools, or maybe even like state schools, you are the center of the attention. You are their moneymaker, you are their pride. They invest a lot in you. You are the spotlight. They care. But when you're out of college, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares at all. I was so depressed, and I know a lot of my international friends were also depressed because the US is a rural country in the majority of places. Like, I don't want to say like Durham is rural, but in comparison to where I'm from, it is. But because in Europe or like in Russia, we have forest, villages, farms, and cities. And the distinction separation is very clear. And here, everything kind of just like ebbs and flows into the other. And unless you're in like the top 10 most populated cities, you're not going to be able to bike to places. You're not going to be able to walk to places. There's no fucking sidewalks. There's no sidewalks. I worked at building and renovating the Wallace Wade Iron Duke Club. Basically, we built the concourse around the Duke football stadium and all of the renovated all of the athletic facilities around it. And I could walk to work because I moved from campus to across the street to some random building, but I didn't have a car. I had a bike for about a year because I thought, I don't need a car. Like, why do I need a car? But then I had to ask friends or Uber to the grocery store because, like, yeah, I could bike some stuff, but like moving even furniture or buying like a suitcase to go somewhere, it was an incredibly not friendly for the things that I was used to. Not even in college, but like before I lived here. So yeah, the real transition was living as a young adult in the US versus living as a teenager. I guess I left the country when I was 18 in Russia. And every time I came back, I was like, damn, things are just so much more convenient and comfortable in Europe. But I still do love it here. It has its charm. I'm used to being able to use a car. I finally bought a car. I can go grocery shopping in a vehicle now. Wonderful. And I have a dog. It's nice that I can have a yard and a dog and still live close to the downtown. So has its moments.
Were there other sort of forms of culture shock?
The way people say, "Oh, I would love to grab coffee with you," and they don't even remember your name. Or you probably heard this from like Europeans when like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And they would just walk by. When I first came here, I would literally stop a person and be like, "You just asked me how I'm doing," and like left. That's rude. Why would you do that? And they'd be like, I just asked how you're doing. And I didn't know that meant hello. Or I would like start telling them how I'm actually doing and what I did and what I ate for breakfast, and they'd be like, and I could see like they're like just, yeah, I gotta get my bus. So that, it's a country of opportunities, but there's so many. Like, I signed up for way too many clubs and extracurriculars when I first came here in college, and wasn't doable. I couldn't do Duke Engineering, Society of Women Engineering Club, and badminton, and lift, and run, and like, you can't pick your classes in Russia. So everything is kind of set. You pick a path of like, do you want to take a chemistry path or a biology path in your school? Or like I did a mathematics and physics path and then did the economy path. So it's just the kind of the classes and the teachers and the intensity of each is decided there. And here, you can pick any class. So overwhelming. I realized I could go study abroad and study somewhere over summer and like volunteer, and I was like, shit, I want to do all of that. This is ridiculous. And I wanted to go to Germany and study engineering in German in Berlin, and then I would have to overload like every semester to get that done. And I also wanted to write a thesis and did this, and then like my advisor was like, listen, going to Berlin is not going to like get you a job here. It's cool, certainly, and I understand you're in love with the German guy. That's wonderful. But maybe, just maybe. So yeah, anyways, I still took German. I didn't go. I did write a thesis. I did do 3 semesters of research. Nobody gave a shit about my thesis after I graduated. They just wanted, I'm so thankful I got an internship before my senior year, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't have gotten a job. Nobody cared about my research. Nobody. It was such cool research, but yeah, interesting country. You live, you learn.
But then it's, you know, and it's so funny to have such a life transition too, to decide, okay, well, I don't want to go that route. I'm going this route.
Yeah.
Was that like an easy thing, or was that like a little bit of trepidation?
Yeah, there was definitely trepidation in leaving my engineering career because I worked for 3 different companies. I got a raise every time. I moved. I started like a Shark Tank and an innovation contest, and like I almost was moved up to like one of the national innovation leads in the company. I contributed to like patent work and stuff like that, and it was very hard to leave because first the salary was really good. Second, I had nobody to fall back on, and I'm even like biting my fingers or like scratching my fingers when I tell you that now. Yeah, it was it, but the economy was also like it was. When did I leave? January 2019, January 28th, 26th, 2019, I quit my job. Yeah, a year before COVID. Little did I know. Little did I know. So yeah, the economy was great. So I was like, everything's great. If I need to find another job, I'll just find another job. And honestly, I would have found another job. I doubt I would have been let go during COVID a year and a half later when a lot of my like international friends and some other folks from construction have been let go and the companies were struggling and buckling up a little bit. I think I still would have been able to find a job okay if I needed to. But what was the point of like doing something you don't like, even if it's more money? I feel like when I started making a certain amount, if I made more, it added to my quality of life very insignificantly, because all I care about is having fun with my friends, having a healthy lifestyle, right? Having fun with my family and friends, traveling every once in a while, and contributing to the causes that matter to me, such as popularizing strength sports among vegans and among women, and sharing the knowledge that I already have, learning the stuff that is important to me in the long term. So I'm learning to code now, picking up some languages that I haven't spoken in a while. And after that, like, money is all right. So yeah, I definitely make less as a coach now than I would have been making if I stayed in engineering. Oh yeah. But it makes me happy. It makes me want to wake up and set up a studio and go to vegan festivals and travel and speak and compete and inspire and write books and learn more about my sport and learn new sports. So it's definitely a more fulfilling path. But yeah, was there trepidation? Yes. Do I want to go back? No. However, I do consult some businesses if they are construction related and athletic or wellness related, because I have experience in both. So I signed an NDA, so I can't tell what I'm doing exactly. But if there's like a small gym building business, or if they're trying to organize a certain wellness facility, I could do some insight for that, and that's also really fun. So I guess it's kind of stepping back, but it's consulting, so it's not working in construction day to day. One more thing about the U.S. You asked me what else was a culture shock. It was a culture shock that I cannot invite males to dinner who worked in my company, but I can invite females. It was a shocker that, yeah, if they were not married, they considered that as a date, and if they were married, they would just be like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you inviting me to dinner?"
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
like bosses and even peers. Yeah, if they were married, like that would just not be cool. I could go grab a beer with them, like for 30 to 45 minutes, quick conversation and go, or I could grab lunch. That's socially acceptable in the US, but not like dinner where you can actually get to know each other. And I was looking to get some knowledge about the industry or any kind of strategies about like growth or what I'm good at, and just like really, I mean, develop relationships. That's how you succeed in career and in the world, right? You develop relationships with people because people work with people, not with companies. However, only certain kinds of interactions were acceptable, and they still are. So like the US is definitely a lot more of a closed-minded country in terms of like how people interact. Because like back in Russia or in Europe, yeah, I could invite a boss to dinner and we're like, we could have a glass of wine at lunch and then go back to the office. Here, absolutely not, right? So that was a little weird. Or like if you go out after work, if it's not a group of people, a member of an opposite sex who is not single will not go with you, because their significant other will not be happy. And I was like, wow, it's not just one case. Like that happened all the time. And I was like, that's weird. Like we're just talking. I'm not gonna do anything. They're not gonna do anything. Like really? I can't connect? That's weird.
Let's talk about getting into lifting.
So I originally, I mean, I lifted through college. And after I got into the workforce, I was like, there's nothing else to do, really, outside of lifting. Like, yeah, I went out with friends and girlfriends every once in a while, but it's not the same as in college. In college, everybody's like, yeah, we studied and now we party. And it felt like a thing to do. Like, you almost felt fulfilled. I did not feel fulfilled after I went out as an adult. Like, okay, we danced. Okay, we had some wine. Okay, maybe we got wasted. Now what? It wasn't like, I don't know. There was no like camaraderie and bonding over that. Like there was in college sometimes, and there was, gossip, and you can be entertained by people doing stupid stuff, or how college life is. But as an adult, it almost felt like such a waste. And I got into partner dancing, so I started learning blues dancing and swing dancing and all of those things. That was really fulfilling, and there was usually no alcohol involved. Well, there was never alcohol involved because it's a dancing studio. And people come there is consent. Would you like to dance with me? No, I would not. And they would move on. Or yes, I would. And then you connect and talk to the person, and you're, I guess, I'm a very kinesthetical person, so you're also getting physical touch and eye contact. And as a person who lived alone, I did not have a dog then, I couldn't get some husky cuddles. But I could get some partner dancing cuddles. So yeah, cuddles are important, as we have learned in COVID, and physical touch and eye contact are very important. And also that's what we don't get enough as a society here. I feel bad for men. Like women can get more of that, and hugs are more socially acceptable. But for men, it's like you either fuck or fight. And outside of that, like you can't hug your bro. It's bro, no homo, bro. Like what? Like it's okay. So in dancing community, it's not like that. Men can dance with men, women can dance with women. You're just dancing. That was cool. But again, getting into lifting was because that was not enough exercise. Maybe with my ADHD, maybe I need to do, maybe with whatever the infernal engine is inside of me. Quote from Baldur's Gate. There was a character there with an infernal engine burning up, so she had so much power. I needed to put that power to some work. And running and biking did not get that out of me. So I needed to lift some heavy stuff and put it down. And then I did more of that. And then I learned more strategies and more ways to do that effectively. And I believe you can never be strong enough. You can always get stronger. And that's the cool thing about it is like you can get lean enough. Because if you get leaner, then you die, right? You just get, in truth, if you get leaner than like 4% body fat, you like your functions start to shut down. They start shutting down for women even sooner than that. But for all humans, like 4%, maybe 3%. After that, you just kind of, yeah. Strong enough? No, not really. That's like not a thing. You can just always get stronger. And it's super fun. And it's always nice to know you do the workout, you feel accomplished. You get the dopamine, you get the endorphins, you get the happy hormones. So you're kind of a little bit on drugs. So I think I have a little bit of an addicted personality, and I am addicted to lifting, and I'm addicted to learning new things physically and intellectually. If I don't do that, I feel like an amoeba. I feel like my brain is just disintegrating. If I take a vacation, which I do, like I don't lift for about maybe 2-3 weeks out of the month when I travel sometimes or after competition. And then like a week after that, I'm like, bruh.
You mean 2 or 3 weeks out of the year? You said out of the month.
Out of the year. 2 or 3 weeks out of the year combined, probably. Maybe like 5 days after competition, a week vacation somewhere, another couple days, weekends, veg fest, travel. I don't lift like with a barbell. I might go for hikes or I might like do yoga with a friend, but it's not really lifting. So yeah, after every time when I go into that, I'm like, gosh, I'm so tired. I deserve some rest. And I rest for like 5 days and then I'm just starting to get antsy and I'm like, I don't feel like I have muscle. Like, hello? Nothing is sore. Like, what's wrong? I'm not dreadfully tired and hungry every other night. Why? So it's very fulfilling.
Nice. Very cool. And let's talk a little bit about, because you got into bodybuilding. What got you into that?
Body dysmorphia, not feeling like I'm good enough, being raised in a patriarchal society that says, look, women need to look like this. Did you see this magazine cover? This is what you're supposed to be. Long hair, suck it in, big boobs. I didn't have big boobs, still don't, even though I eat a lot of soy. So I'm still waiting for the myth to, work itself into reality. I hope it's real, and then I'll just get double D's in a couple years after I eat enough soy. Anyways, I did not feel good about my body. Weirdly, because I was 145 pounds when I started bodybuilding, and I'm 165 to 170 now, depending. Probably closer to 170, because I gain about like 2 to 3 pounds a year. So, got into bodybuilding because I thought I was not enough. I wanted to get into this magazine look and just stay there because I thought that was going to make me happy. Because after quitting construction, and I also got divorced around the same time, I felt a little depressed. I felt like, yes, I'm going into coaching, but I'm going to be a good coach and I'm going to be a good example for others to follow and fulfilled for myself if I look this way, if I look like a magazine cover. Always lean all year, 6-pack, 8-pack, all muscle definition everywhere. And then I will not feel like an imposter. I could actually teach other women how to get to look this way, right? So I hired a coach, got certified as a personal trainer, which ironically, the majority of people in the room getting certified with me were obese. So that was interesting. Maybe they would work as like good coaches and they don't really do sports themselves. I don't really know, but that was weird to me. I was like, oh, I thought everybody was supposed to be lean. So anyways, I hired a coach and started lifting, and I was like, yeah, I just want to look like this all year. But she was like, yeah, you should go compete. You should go on stage. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not one of these athlete people. And she was like, you're leaner than most of my clients. And I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. So she basically convinced me. And I'm glad she did, because I would have never done it if not her. If with powerlifting also, a couple of my clients convinced me. They were like, how are we competing? And you have more experience in powerlifting, but like you never competed. And I was like, I don't know, because I thought I wouldn't, like, I'm not going to like win anything or go to the nationals. And I did both of those things. So within like a year and a half of competing. So regardless, bodybuilding was to get to the unattainable looks and maintain it. Got to the unattainable look, figured out I'm miserable at it, miserable being very lean, and I won 7 awards in bodybuilding and natural shows. That did not make me happy. It made me upset and stressed and hungry and not wanting to do anything physical, right? My period stopped like 3 months before show. I didn't want to use the stairs. I used the elevator. I was always tired. You probably know this if you try to get very lean. If you didn't, try to get very lean, and you're going to find out that it's not as fun as it looks. And all of those magazine covers models are dehydrated. They diet for the photo shoot, or they're photoshopped, or all of the three. I didn't Photoshop any of my photos that you see on totalbodylab.com, but I was dieting before the shows, dehydrated, and not happy even though I'm smiling and looking all glowing and wearing the fake tan and the bedazzled bikini. So yeah, that was bodybuilding.
You said something in one of the interviews I read where you had clients come up to you and point at your photo and say, like, I want to look like that, and it kind of depressed you. Can you talk about that?
So this is the photo to which my clients probably pointed, right? This is one of my in-between shows photos. This is me powerlifting. This is a comparison from bodybuilding and powerlifting, right? This is me at 165, 22% body fat. This is me at 130, 8% body fat. And you can see all of the muscles. You can see every shred. I have a photo of my back, and you can see like everything on my back, my legs, and my butt. So super crazy. And I did exactly the same when I found my bodybuilding coach. So I've had multiple. One of them competed in bikini, and yes, she got very lean. And I was like, all right, I just want to get super lean, and I've seen other competitors. And then my second bodybuilding coach was figure, and she was just incredibly skinny all her life. I am not. So there's not my body composition. Everybody in my family is like kind of strong, kind of bulky, kind of a little like thick, they say these days, right? Like my grandma could carry a sack of potatoes on one shoulder and a sack of like cement on another shoulder and just do this all day like a mule, you know? So we are kind of like short and chunky and bulky and like apple-shaped humans. So my second bodybuilding coach, who was getting me ready for figure, which all got canceled because there was COVID. I was supposed to compete in April and June, I think we planned, in 2020. So I got pretty shredded for that as well. I put on more muscle and I got more shredded than for bikini. And I was like, all right, if she's coaching me and she looks like this, she can make me look like her, kind of. Well, she actually had to gain weight to compete. She was so skinny, and she was like still eating carbs while in the line for stage. So people are so different, and that is another thing that I try to convince people now when they come to me and they're like, hey, I look like you, so I need to do what you did to get there. And I'm like, probably not, highly unlikely, because every individual is so different. Like I've trained girls who are about the same, like let's say mother of one, between 30 and 40, about the same height, about the same weight, and one needs to eat almost 3,000 calories to maintain, and one needs to eat like 1,600. And they're about the same activity level. And like we have narrowed down as many variables as we could, and unless they were not telling me that they like walk a shit ton at work, totally different nutrition and training strategies for them both to be like lean and strong and happy. One needs to lose weight, one needs to be in a high calorie deficit, one needs to be in a high calorie deficit to kind of get to the point where they want to be, even though it's losing just like a couple pounds or gaining just a couple pounds and getting that definition. So yeah, super, I forgot the question.
No, I hadn't noticed. No, you're just talking about your experience as a bodybuilder and the point where you decide to make the change. Right.
So super unreliable to hire a coach who you think you could look like, or you think you could do the things that they do if it's a performance-based or strength sport, and be like, yeah, you need to hire a coach who can deliver what you cannot get yourself, right? And write a good training program and keep you on track, and write a good nutrition program and stay on you so you do it and encourage you. It's basically just a lot of encouragement and some tough love, and you kind of take what a person is and they tell you how they feel, and if they're like, oh, I'm hungry, all right, you give them a diet break. And if they're like, yeah, I think I can power through, if they're a little more tough, then you can maybe give them like less diet breaks and a little more strength stuff. So I definitely enjoyed eating more as a powerlifter. I'd enjoyed less.
Before we go there, can you talk about the transition that made you realize to try that rather than...
To try powerlifting?
Yes, yeah.
So my training was powerlifting based, even when I was a bodybuilder. After I started competing, after I was getting ready to compete in figure, when I was getting ready for bikini, I was still lifting very heavy until maybe like the last couple of weeks of prep. But when after stage, everybody gains weight because it's unsustainable to stay that lean for long. So from 130, I gained, I think, up to around 155, 160, and it was fat. It was definitely fat. I can show you the pictures. I felt so bad. I felt so fat, even though I look probably leaner than now, maybe. I'm a little bit heavier, but yeah, I thought like I was horrible looking. So immediately I was like, well, let's start leaning out for another show. But because I got disappointed in my coaches and I wanted somebody more, I wanted to get more enjoyment out of prep. So a friend of mine who used to powerlift and then got injured and didn't do this for a while, I guess we were in the same community, so a lot of our common friends sent him my socials and sent him my photos, and they were like, oh, you guys know each other, you guys are like friends, right? So she competed in the same thing as you did, so you guys lift together, right? And he was like, no, I'm a powerlifter and she's a bikini chick. No. And people still do this to me now when like some of our common friends competes in like a bikini or a bodybuilding. They're like, oh yeah, you're also a bodybuilder. I'm like, no, I'm a powerlifter, but that's okay. I know this person. That's great. So they sent him my info and he contacted me and he was like, how's it going? Haven't lifted for a while if you want to lift together. And he hasn't lifted for a couple of years because he injured his hand while working on wood. It was pretty severe. So he just, I guess, was unmotivated, which I totally get. We went to the gym together and I was frustrated because I gained all the, weight really quickly after bikini, which is totally normal. And I wanted to get back in shape as quickly as possible, but I was fat and strong to lift weights. And he was a power lifter. So we started lifting weights together and he hasn't lifted for a while, right? So he was happy to start lifting weights with me. And I did not realize that he was a pretty high-level powerlifter. He's been to the nationals a couple of times. He almost got third in his weight category, which was, I believe, 92 and a half for guys. He was less than 100 kilos. So regardless, very competitive weight category. And he did really well, but hurt his hand, hurt his back, and was just recreationally getting into it for himself. So I did not realize what I was stepping into when he started teaching me actual powerlifting, the way that you do it competitively, but he was doing it very non-forcibly. He was like, all right, I do this way, you want to try doing it this way? And I got so strong, I actually didn't really, well, I definitely got frustrated when COVID started, but I didn't have like nowhere to funnel my lifting after my shows got canceled because I was like, all right, I leaned out again to 145 pounds from like 160, 165. I'm shredded. Everything's closed. I can't go anywhere. I made my own workouts at the house. I had some ropes, I had some TRX, and I had adjustable dumbbells up to 55 pounds each. So I was learning handstands, I was filming videos, I got a ton of clients. Like my business probably quadrupled during COVID because I actually had an app where I could put all those workouts, and people were frustrated, sitting in their homes, didn't know how to build a program. So I did that and found a gym where I actually could work out with a mask and started training there. And it was a powerlifting based, strongman based gym. So I was like, all right, let's just gain weight and lift heavy because who knows when stuff will reopen. I'm not going to stay lean forever because it's miserable, but I can stay strong forever. So after that, staying strong forever and getting stronger kind of stuck, and I never wanted to get lean again. Because what's the point? I just feel good like this. And I think I look good, or at least if other people think that I used to look better when lean, sure, being lean is kind of cool. But feeling strong and just feeling confident in my body, in my physical abilities, is kind of more worth it to me right now. And even though, yeah, I definitely have more body fat right now, I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I look good.
And you get to eat, importantly.
Oh yeah, I get to eat, and then I get to go out. I don't need to carry around Tupperware everywhere I go and everywhere I travel. I don't need to freak out of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I do not have my meal prep. What am I going to eat? Like, the most problems that bodybuilders get is not when they actually prep and step on stage. It's after the show is done. I didn't know what to eat because all my meals were laid out, all my supplements, all my everything. And after the show, coach was like, you can eat anything. And I'm like, oh my God, I actually don't know what I want. Like, I'm hungry, and then I would like overeat. And then I'd be like, yeah, I could eat anything after this again. It was very confusing. It was very confusing. Athletes in powerlifting are not like that. They're like, all right, I'm so tired. I just competed. I'm not going to lift for a couple days, and I'm going to want to lift again. Just eat whatever you want to eat and you know how to do that. You know how to eat balanced when you also eat whatever you want. Like I did this morning. I ate oatmeal and chia seeds, and hemp seeds and a protein shake and an apple and an orange. That's what I wanted, and that's also pretty healthy. By dinner, I'll probably want to eat some ice cream after like rice and seitan and veggies. That's cool. When I was bodybuilding, I didn't know that's what I wanted. I thought I wanted ice cream for breakfast, and then for lunch, and then for dinner. And then by dinner, I was like, all right, I don't feel good, but I don't know. Should I eat? I'm just going to get on a meal prep again. So your mind is so fucked when you're bodybuilding.
Wow. Yeah. It's like this sort of control. Like you're almost fixated on this idea of control. And like,
it's
that's
totally
not
OCD.
healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. And if people have mental health or eating disorders or mental health conditions, yeah, bodybuilding aggravates it so much. Like I get depressed again. My OCD about food and calories and macros, because it was so structured before the show and it was whatever you want, everything goes after the show. I just didn't know, like eating a croissant or an ice cream or drinking beer almost didn't bring me as much pleasure as I expected it would. And that was disappointing. And like when you're just eating so structured and so little for so long and you're like, I have a refeed. Oh my God, what do I want? I want a waffle with chocolate and with strawberries, and you eat it and you're like, it's just a waffle. I didn't have a triple orgasm from it. It's, really? That's it? So you kind of just, yeah, you're unsatisfied when you get what you want. You're unsatisfied when you don't get what you want because you're fixated on the fact that you just need to power through a little bit more and then things will fall into place. But they never really do, because the leaner you get, the more you nitpick, because then when you step on stage, you are compared to every other athlete on stage, like dogs at a, what are the dog shows called? Dog shows, sure, yeah. Which one fits the breed the best? Which butt fits the category the best? Which legs, which leanness level, which symmetry, and the fact that you need to do the hair and the makeup and wear a bedazzled suit, I'm not really sure how that relates to athleticism. It's more of like a beauty pageant type of thing. I'm bashing bodybuilding so hard in this video. It's still a sport. It still takes place, but some aspects of it I think need to go away, and it will make the sport more accessible and kind of funner for the athletes. Like I don't need to spend $1,000 in a freaking suit and heels and tan. Yes, tan pops your muscle better on stage, but did you know dark-skinned people also need to get a tan? Because otherwise you don't have this certain type of glow and whatever and evenness. And if everybody wears the same color of tan, but you detan yourself, you might look more orange or more black or more brown or more different tint, and you'll lose points for that because you look different. Like what? I've been busting my ass and getting lean. How the fuck does my tan matter? But it matters. So, yeah, bodybuilding. Guess what matters in powerlifting? Whether you lifted the weight or not. That's it.
Can you talk a little bit about the feeling in competition? Because you're so fun to watch. You're so concentrated.
Oh, in powerlifting?
And then you're like,
I look like I'm going to for a fight or go kill somebody. Yeah.
Talk about like that satisfaction.
Ooh, satisfaction. Yeah. It's this ultra focus that I can only compare with like taking a test. Like, you've been studying for a long time, and let's say a test is a 95% of your grade. That's how it feels. You've been training for so long, and you've been trying to get the most rest before the meet that you could. And now you've got everything. You've got your gear, you rested, you ate, you drink your water, the work is done, everything's behind your shoulders. Now you just need to go and perform. It's a feeling unlike any other, honestly. I can't really compare it with anything. When you just go in there and set up, and you got your opening attempt out of the way. It's usually the easy one. The opening attempt is for the judges, so you're always supposed to get that. The second attempt is for the coach and for the team. So please get that too. And the third attempt is for you. So I usually YOLO the third attempt, which is why I've never done 9 for 9 in meets, is because the third attempt, I get the weight that I want. And if I lift it, cool. If I don't lift it, cool. So yeah. This ultra focus, and it's just you and the platform and the weight and nothing else exists, is really awesome. Like, yeah, people could be cheering for you. Yeah, people can be completely silent. They're just zoned out of your attention span. And you hear the judge's commands, and then you do it. And you get off the platform. You have 60 seconds to order your second weight. And then you go sit down for 10 minutes and get in the back of the line. And then you go do it again.
What is the camaraderie like with other powerlifters?
It depends where. My favorite camaraderie was at the all-ladies meet that I'm actually doing again this year. It was Ladies of Steel in South Carolina. It depends on the amount of stages, platforms, the size of the space. Usually whether you are in like direct competition or not, you still cheer for each other. And if there's some big ass champion comes and everybody's just like, oh my God, I get to see them lift. So yeah, I have gone to a lot of meets alone, and it's still fun because the crowd still cheers for you if you're in the zone, you're happy, you're going for it. Even if you're unhappy, some people would have like this little rage. Some people would be very focused and like unengaged with the crowd. Some people will be engaged with the crowd. And like at my last Mr. America meet, I was like, all right, you guys are so quiet. Why are you quiet? Come on, like make some noise, help us. And it helps when people yell. It helps when they go up when you struggle. So there definitely is a camaraderie with the crowd, people you've never met, with people who don't know you, but they're seeing you. And like there's some dude and then some dude. And there's this chick. What? There's this small chick that's lifting more weight than the dude. Okay. So I'm talking about myself in like some of the smaller meets, because the weight on the barbell just goes up, 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 up. So they put the people in the order so that they don't have to take the weight down and then up again. They just kind of keep adding. So it doesn't really like matter your size. If there's only one platform on one flight, people just go up. And I'm usually with the guys at like the small meets. So it's really fun. People are like surprised and they're like, oh my gosh, hell yeah, there's a woman in the end of the line. That's fun. There is definitely more camaraderie with the women, I would say. Like that's why I'm doing the women only meet again. And honestly, if it was my choice when I was getting to the sport, I would only do that. I went into the nationals and there were 4 platforms. The crowd was just spread in this thin kind of line rather than making the crowd deep, right? They just put chairs kind of around the platforms, and it was really hard to follow because there were 2 announcers and they had to announce each platform. And the crowd, you don't know where to look. And like, unless there's prime time when there's only one platform and everybody's focused on only the pros, it's kind of hectic and like it's hard to follow. So I did not really get as much as I thought I would from the nationals. But I'm glad I went. It's definitely an experience, like being in Vegas and being among all the champions on the same platforms. It was definitely an experience. But I will focus on more female-only meets from now on, and the meets that are local where I know the people, because it's just fun. I compete for fun, and I think everybody should, right? Yeah, you can try to beat your opponents, but they're not really your opponents. They're kind of your peers. They're competing literally against themselves. If you try to beat somebody, you'll get injured because, like, let's say you and I go compete, right? And you're like, okay, I want to win. I'm going to train as hard as I can. I want to win. You're not going to beat me. And I'm not going to beat this other chick who is a, multiple times national champion. Like, I signed up for one of the meets. I went to New York City just because I wanted to have I wanted to compete and have a vacation. Usually I do that. I just do that and take a vacation for like a weekend. Well, I took a vacation there for like a week and it was awesome. And I thought I would win. And then Danny Mello shows up, who is a 5 times national champion. Of course she won. And she was in my weight category too. Of course she won my weight category. And I got a silver and she won the best lifter. There's no way I could have beat her, right? So if you're going into powerlifting with the idea that you want to win, you're going to be very unhappy. Have an expectation of increasing your total or adding the weight on the barbell. Squatting more than you squatted last year. Benching more than you benched last year. And just kind of being realistic and having a little less expectations, because if you go balls to the wall right away, like, you'll either get disappointed or you'll get injured. This is a slow sport. This is a marathon. Strength comes very slowly, and if you add like 10 pounds of muscle this year, you'll add 5 next year and 2.5 next year if you're a woman. This is about as much progress as you can hope for as a beginner. If you're a guy, probably double that, but still, the amount of weight you add in muscle, lean muscle mass, decreases over time. I have incremental gains every year. If I added 100 pounds on the barbell last year, I'm going to add 50 this year, maybe, if I'm lucky. So don't get unsatisfied with that. Progress is still progress. And all that matters is that you had fun in the process.
Awesome. And to an extent, it seems like that would be really empowering for women, because it is about like competing against yourself in a way, like growing.
I'm really sick of women advised to get smaller, eat less, be less. And like we've made a video about this. You can be more. You can eat more, put more muscle, lean muscle on yourself, add strength, add pounds on the barbell, add skills, like gain friends. You can gain influence. You can gain things, and gaining weight is a part of it, and it's not necessarily a bad part of it, right? So I want to flip the script in terms of empowering women and having gain to be a non-scary word. That is definitely empowering. And it took me a while to make peace with my body dysmorphia and be like, my appearance is not why my friends love me. That's not why I have value. That is not why I'm a good coach. That's not why I'm a good partner, etc., right? So if you just separate performance and appearance, you will definitely feel better about yourself as a human being. And I don't know what is more empowering than like martial arts and strength sports, and because they're performance based. I guess martial arts, you have an opponent and then you need to like fight them and fight a certain amount of people. In powerlifting, it's a solo sport, right? It's you and the barbell. So even though, yes, winning depends on who else shows up, and maybe they lift more and they're in the same weight category as you, right? Like if you're playing somebody and it's a team sport, depends on your team, depends on the opponent too, right? But there's a lot more variables. There's a lot more other people. There's a lot more conditions. In powerlifting, there's less conditions. It's always the same barbell. It's spec'd. It's always the same platform. There's always the same weights. They're steel. They're calibrated. So it is incredibly empowering because the rest is up to you. You have the variables. You're in control. And now you can go crush it if you want to.
Talking about being a vegan, like when did that start? How long? And
okay. yeah, I got my blood tested in, I think, 2015, 2016, and realized it was just a normal check, but realized my triglycerides and my cholesterol were way through the roof, and that was pre-heart disease, borderline risk, and I was 23, and I was like, okay, that's unfortunate. What can we do about it? Without drugs, without, all of the things the doctors want to prescribe you, because like I was 23, I'm sure I could fix it if I just was doing some kind of very obvious thing wrong. And this obvious wrong thing was eating meat and eating a lot of it and eating a lot of egg whites and a lot of fish. And I grew up eating meat and fish and eggs, and I thought that's what athletes do, right? If I want to get strong, I need the protein. So I never really tried like vegan food before. I never tried to make it, but I've always been curious about different cuisines. I would always try new things. So I took it upon myself to challenge myself to cook vegan, and I eliminated cheese and then dairy and then meat and eggs and fish and things kind of step by step. I didn't jump into it cold turkey because it was already hard to cook things that were new. I did not know how to cook tofu right away. I took forever to learn how to cook tofu. Probably I'm still learning, but it tastes better than they used to. So probably over the summer, at least like 8 weeks of like mostly plant-based diet, my cholesterol and my triglycerides and everything went back to normal. I went back to recheck blood, talked to my doctor. Doctor said it's fine. Don't listen to everybody who says you can't be an athlete and a healthy person on a plant-based diet. They're stupid, and they just don't know how to eat a balanced diet in the first place. So as long as your diet is balanced, as long as you don't eat like rice and potatoes and vodka and Coca-Cola and Oreos all day, as long as you include more greens, right? More veggies, more seeds, some nuts, some healthy fats, a variety of protein sources into your diet, you can achieve all of the athletic things. And that's the motto of my team, the Vegan Strong Plant Build team, right? That plants have all the protein you need to perform on the highest level. And I agree with that now that I've seen for myself after having been vegan since 2016.
When people kind of are like, yeah, you can't do that and be strong, do you come across that a lot?
No, not anymore, because I don't go telling people, hello, I'm vegan. Did you know that you can be strong? I don't go and preach. I just shut up and lift, and then I mainly post about like my performance, and people are like, okay, what do you do? What do you eat? And I'd be like, yeah, I eat like a lot of seitan, a lot of tofu, and a lot of this, and I train with a lot of squats and compound movements, not a lot of accessories, and I like to deadlift, and this is my program, please. It's free on the internet. Check it out. The more I am in the sport, the less I hide, because when I was starting, I was like, ooh, maybe my meal plan needs to be such secret. Like, the only thing that I don't like to share is macros, because macros can get some people whack if they're like too little or too much and they try to copy them. But I don't even track macros anymore. So, yeah, I like to lead by example. And if people see and they're like, all right, impressive. What do you do? I can share. And they're like, you're fully vegan? Like, you don't eat any meat? You don't eat yogurt? Where do you get your protein? And I'd be like, you guys can download any of my free resources, and like there's literal meal plans in there. There's like, what do I eat for omega-3s? Okay, here's the foods rich in omega-3s. Here's my grocery shopping list. Cool, you need recipes? All right, here's some recipes. Like, I will always make YouTube videos and Instagram posts and respond to all the people on the internet who ask me this, because like I said, as long as I make enough money to live, I'm fine. I am happy to give as much free advice and as much guidance to the people who are interested in getting into sports and getting stronger, especially women and especially vegans who want to get into sports and get more muscle mass. learn more about how they can be more powerful, how they can be more skillful, how they can become an athlete. That's just kind of my objective in life probably now. Is every size healthy? No. Sorry. Health is not predicted by looks. When you separate appearance and health and performance, those three things can overlap. You may think that some athletes are great looking and they also happen to be very healthy because they do a bunch of other things in their life to remain healthy. But also remember that extreme, narrowed down sports, right? If somebody's job is to run as fast as they can, maybe they're going to do some other things worse, right? Or maybe they're going to destroy themselves in the process, such as ballerinas retire at 36. They learn from very young age to perform this certain specific sport. I would say that ballet is a sport, right? Very rigorous training. Are they the healthiest? They can be. I also know some ballerinas from the Moscow Bolshoi Theater who smoke and drink, and they did this on tour because nobody cares about their performance in tour. They're coming to see the Moscow Bolshoi Theater on tour, and they're in the tour group, not in the core group, so they kind of they've done this for their whole life. They're going to be performing okay anyways. And you can argue they look amazing, you can argue they don't have enough upper bodies, that they all are legs, but you see what I mean? And then there can be a bigger person, like me, for example, right? I'm almost 170 pounds. I'm pretty healthy. Some people could argue that I don't look amazing, but who's the judge? Who's the judge?
Nice. Real fast, just how do you spend your days? Like, what does your day look like from beginning to end?
Okay, so let's start with the fact that I wake up late. I like to sleep. I go to bed very late because I either get talking to friends or to my partner or working, and then I enjoyed so much and oh shit, it's 2 a.m. Okay. Or playing with dogs, or just I get caught up in things, or I can be reading a book and okay, I'm gonna finish the book. No, I'm not gonna finish the book. It's 2 a.m. Go to bed. So I wake up late, don't have an alarm, usually unless I have a meeting, and I try to get as much sleep as I can. Recovery, sleep is number one for me in terms of recovery. All of these supplements and ice baths and saunas, that's great. Not even close to how important sleep is for recovery. So I wake up late. I have me some coffee or tea, let the dogs out, have a leisurely breakfast while catching up on messages or parents or friends and looking through some news. And then I come here to the office/studio and I actually do work. I can call clients, go to my meetings, which are usually online, write some programs, update website, organize things online, which is surprisingly, the more things online I have now, the more they need to be organized. And it's not fun work. It's not like I'm creating new stuff, but stuff needs to be done and edited and placed somewhere and scheduled. And sometimes in the evening I will have in-person clients. I still have one or two, very rarely. Those are mainly people who live close or friends of friends. I don't usually take in-person clients anymore, but some reason to get out of the house is very nice when working from home, some reason outside of walking the dogs. So yeah, I'll go see my in-person clients, I'll go train, I'll walk the dogs. I forgot to say lunch. Since my breakfast is late, I don't usually eat lunch, right? So I'll just eat a big breakfast and snack all day, and then I eat a big dinner and read a book, work more, play a video game, study, code. Yeah, and go to bed.
Oh, talk about going to coding school. Oh gosh. Or just for a side hobby.
I realized maintaining a website and building a website is such a pain in the ass. And yes, I've hired developers to do that. I've hired developers to build my awesome Total Body Lab app that houses all the workouts and nutrition. And it has support and stuff, but it has some technical issues sometimes when the person with an old phone or too much stuff in the cache or, there can be issues with stuff that has been built by other people. So I was like, screw it. And after having gotten offers for websites that are thousands of dollars, I was like, all right, I'm going to spend the same thousands of dollars on learning how to do this myself. Because if I can't do it or don't have time to do it, yeah, I can pay other people to do it. But if it's cool and fun and I can make it exactly the way I want to, why not just learn it? If it's like costs the same amount to learn and it costs the same amount of time for me to learn it rather than explain to somebody how to do it, they do it half the way I want to. I have to tell them again and check it again, and it's just a never-ending process. It's the same as hiring editors for the videos. Awesome, but very expensive and very little amount of people. Megan's probably the only one. And Oleg is the second one who can edit and then send me the kilbasa, what they called is like the chopped up like video kind of roughly put together with no transitions saying, all right, is this how you want it? Cool. The rest of editors that I've ever hired, I usually write them like a list of things that they missed, and unless I write a script, it's never right. So it's the same with coding and like websites and apps. I have to do it myself, or I'm going to spend more time explaining how it needs to be done and spending more money on that because it's paid by the hour. So we're learning coding. Maybe next year, hire me part-time? I don't know.
What makes you happy?
Talking to my parents, hanging out with my friends, going to sauna, playing with dogs, walking dogs, dreaming about what I'm gonna do in the next 5 and 10 and 20 years, and planning for the future, and pinning handwritten postcards that I've received from friends from like across the ocean and somewhere else and here on my board. Decorating spaces, figuring out how I want things like in my office or in the house. I really like to do interior design, apparently. I guess I'm 32, maybe it's time. Maybe I'm gonna like hanging carpets on walls in 10 years. Who knows? And laced napkins under vases, who knows? It's a Russian old grandma stereotype, in case you're not getting it. I'm not gonna share things about my like personal life here, but spending time with my loved ones makes me happy. Surprisingly, reduced amount of friends, but solidifying those friendships has made me happy over the years. Talking to my clients and seeing how they just have the light bulb, I get it now, I can do this now, look, like I can do a handstand, or look, I can, I understand what it means to like move my thoracic spine separately from my lumbar. I can actually do it, and I can organize my back the way I need to and deadlift correctly now. It makes me incredibly happy to see people learn and progress. When I have the same light bulb, it makes me very happy. When I have PRs in the gym, when I wake up and I see my dogs happy and they're excited to walk, and I'm excited to eat some tasty food. My dad, if you ever feel depressed, my dad has this like mantra that he reads, and I get depressed sometimes, so I read it to myself almost every morning. I wake up and I look in the mirror before brushing my teeth, and I say, my eyes see, my lungs breathe, my legs walk, my hands can do things, so I'm very blessed. I'm very happy. I have food on the table. I have a roof over my head. And we take things for granted a lot. I take things for granted all the time. I have so much. I'm not going to say I would have never thought I would have so much, because I don't have like castles and mansions, but that's not what makes me happy. I don't need that. But the things that I do have, some of them I haven't dreamt of, but some of them I do have, and they make me very happy.
I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I was tearing up a little bit.
No, it's good. I think this is something to want, desire, and pursue meaningful work. In a meaningful life.
Pursue a meaningful life, yeah. Oh, I also like this diversified fulfillment. It's hung on my wall. You see that right there, pink note. So I strive to diversify my fulfillment, right? So I get fulfilled from work and from time alone and from time with my partner and from time with my friends and from making money and from helping others and from spending time with animals and from contributing to the vegan community and to the athletic community and from learning from the coaches and the athletes that I know. So
I love that. That's good too. Is there anything else you want to say about yourself you think of?
I think this is a good wrap.
Yeah, I think this is a good wrap too.